Embrace the darkness, Jackie.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, introducing you to my Darkness 2 Dawn Difficulty video walkthrough. This is the second part to Chapter 13, and we're still having fun and games in the Carnival. So, these next few areas are going to be just running, gunning, taking out lights, taking out dudes, pretty much par for the course. So I'm going to continue the topic I was speaking about in the last video, which is the most recent novel by a guy called Matthew Riley. And one thing I will say to people is, if you're not a big reader, because you don't really have the patience for it, or you've never really read a book that's ever really caught your interest, but you're wanting to perhaps get into reading, these books are the best gateway I could ever recommend. And the main reason for this is because they're not too character driven. There's not too much, super deep characterization or levels or layers to it, because the focus on these stories that he writes is literally adventure, fun, action, and really, really fast-paced storytelling. Because what generally happens in these books is he'll set up the plot for about 70 pages, and then it'll just explode, and then from then on they're constantly running, they're constantly evading, getting shot at or shooting back or getting attacked by helicopters, and getting into all kinds of death-defying situations where they have to somehow survive. And it's just constantly moving, it's constantly exciting, it never slows down, and it's just fantastic storytelling for somebody that doesn't want it to be all overly analytical and really thoughtful and methodical and mundane. And don't get me wrong, there is a place for that in books, and it all depends on the quality of the writer. But if you want just a balls to the wall, crazy Metal Gear Solid / Call of Duty-esque type of read, this is the closest you will get to those kind of video games, because they're that ridiculous, they're that enjoyable, and they're just that preposterous. Like, there's even a scene in the book where it's pretty much that airplane scene from Uncharted, where the cargo is all hanging out at the back of the plane with the jeep and everything, and there is a scene like that. That is how nuts this stuff gets. It's fantastic, and if it does sound like something that you're interested in, I would compel you to read the very first one of the series, because this is the 4th book in the series, and each one of the books is absolutely amazing. And if you start at Ice Station, which is the very first one, you'll appreciate all the ones that follow, and it gives you more things to read if you're into it. And I will say this much, Ice Station is my favourite book of all time. So if anybody's ever wondered what my favourite piece of literature is, it is that book. It has everything. It's got killer whales, it's got crack SAS teams, it's got Navy SEALs, it's got ice stations, it's got fucking... It is amazing. It is... Oh, I can't even say how much I love that book. And you should check it out. Everybody should check it out. But back to the gameplay anyhow. So, as you've noticed, this is really enemy heavy, this section. It's been a lot of dudes. We've picked up a Kalashnikov. I've got some javelins that I'm chucking at dudes. And we're just pushing forward, triggering enemies, killing them, mowing them down, and moving forward. For the most, this is all real simple, but there is a courtyard that I mentioned in the last video coming up that I found is probably one of the most challenging fights of the game. But compared to other games like Call of Duty and things, it's not very hard. It's just, on the scale of the difficulty in this game, it's probably the more challenging area of it, so just be aware of that when you're playing. But there's a couple sections coming up as well where we get to control the Darkling again, and they're actually challenging the first time you do them, because when you get spotted on Dawn as the Darkling, he dies really fast, so you've kind of got to approach it like a Metal Gear. You've got to full on stealth it and execute some dudes. But there's a shrine here, so we're probably going to be buying some upgrades. Let's see what we're doing. So I've got the cooldown for gun channeling. I'm looking into the swarm upgrades, but I'm probably not going to buy any of them. There's the pistol upgrades. Yeah, I'm going to be moving towards buying explosive ammunition. One thing I will say now in retrospect, I did not see much of a difference with this upgrade at all. I didn't even see a visual difference. I think the only thing I noticed was the Python went from a 2-shot kill to a 1-shot kill on those piss-weak enemy dudes. But once you've done that, climb out of the window, drop down onto this section, and this is going to be a pretty big firefight. And the reason you know this is because there's ammo everywhere. And this is it, people. This is the courtyard. This is the challenging courtyard that I mentioned. And there's ammo everywhere. There's lots of things to pick up, and you can approach this from any kind of situation. The problem is there's a lot of lights, and it makes it kind of difficult. But before we can do that, we're going to be doing another one of the carnival shooting games. I've kept this one in because, I don't know, I suppose it's a little bit more important than the last one, because the first one's just shooting ducks. This one you get to shoot some cowboys. And this is kind of weird, this, because the detection on the shots on this gun is really bad. Like, you shoot and then it goes. It's like, it feels that there's a delay, there's some kind of input delay on it, and that there's no satisfying sound when you shoot the targets either. I thought it'd make like a tinny noise, and it just doesn't. It's really unsatisfying. But if you get over 1,000 points on this and you got 1,000 points on the last one, you will get an achievement. I think it's only worth 5 or 10 G, so it's not going to change your life, but it's still pretty cool. And like sections like that, can you actually physically get all the targets, I wonder? Because sometimes the gun just doesn't fire fast enough, because it's pump action. It seems kind of strange, but there you go. 1,000 points, we've done it, and Jenny gets a big teddy bear. And as soon as this dream vanishes, we're in for a really big firefight. Skip it, get it skipped. So there's a couple of different ways you can approach this. You can go into the corners and use the buildings as cover, but you want to be careful. First thing I do there is I pick up the explosive, I throw it at the jeep to try and kill the enemies, and then I use the swarm to kill this teleporting guy. In front of me there's a pole. I'm probably going to use that to impale a dude. Yeah, I did just then. And then I'm cruising over to this jeep here, and this was actually a completely different strategy that I tried on this run, because I tried to be as aggressive as possible to see if I could kill everybody on the spawn. And it kind of works, but it gets to a point where I'm very low on life and I'm hiding behind that wall to my right. So just be aware that it can get pretty hairy, this, because there's a guy that's going to disarm me. I fucking hate that enemy, he's such a dickhead. And I see the pipes over there because I've got no weapon. I come over here, there's another one of the explosive barrels just in case. You can use these little offshoots on the side of the arena for cover. Completely wasted the explosive then because it hit the trim. And I'm down to 1 square of life. So this is where things start to get a little bit more strategic and a little bit more tentative. But you'll notice both my abilities are back, so I can use the swarm and I can use the gun channeling. And that's exactly what I do. The only problem with gun channeling is it makes enemies completely shatter and you can't eat their hearts. So if you're injured and you need to heal, bear in mind that gun channeling is not going to help you get life back. But that dude disarms me through the van. I'm in a spot of bother. I run over here to see if I can sit in this corner. I can't because it's an invisible wall. And I end up crouching and headshotting that guy. But you'll notice I'm getting shot from the right. So I rush over here. I eat the heart. It gives me my life back. And I survive that really tense moment. I see the car door. Pick that bad boy up. And then just go to shooting these guys. And you'll notice it's a teleporter. I think it's 2 teleporters. And then after you kill these, the staircase to my left that's over there, there's going to be a shield guy that turns up with a normal enemy, so you want to be careful of him too. But there's a teleporter guy still alive and a couple more soldiers just across the way. So just wait them out, use as much cover as you can. I wish there was an upgrade where you could make the car doors take more damage, because there's actually an ability to execute people and get this darkness shield from them. And when I first used it, it was kind of cool, but I didn't find that much use for it, and I didn't upgrade it on this run. But as soon as he's dead, there's the soldier, there's the guy with the light, and then there's the shield dude. So I use my swarm because it's just come back. I use the gun channeling as well in conjunction, and I just completely rape face. So there you go. Probably the most aggressive strategy to get through that section, but if you can do that, you've done potentially the hardest part of the game, or one of the harder parts, so you should be okay for the rest. There's only another interesting firefight coming up towards the end of the game, but that aside, it's pretty much smooth sailing to the end here, people, so congratulations, and pat yourself on your back. But there's the striker. If only I'd had that when I came into this fight, it would be so much easier. Because if you've got this assault rifle, people, when you start that encounter, you are going to shit on people's faces, because this gun is so powerful. It is really fun to use. I just think when you aim down sights, it looks like they didn't scale the rifle out for perspective, so the holographic sight looks tiny. Looks like you're looking through like some fucking Playmobil thing. It's pretty funny. But thanks for watching, and you take care now.